I need to go off script for a moment. I'd like to recognize Youth Move. Well, my main purpose today is I've been asked to introduce a gentleman who is a picture of resilience in recovery, who has struggled and overcome adversity, and now is helping others to achieve the success that he is driven to. Mr. Terry Green is the founder and the CEO of Think, Make, Live Youth nonprofit. He is a national social justice consultant and a marketing expert, and provides a lot of opportunities for young people who they can achieve the same success that he has. And he's very active with Youth Move. It's my very good, distinct pleasure to introduce Mr. Terry Green.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mike DeWine, for that speech. I know he's getting ready to get out of here, but we appreciate you. I'm going to bring a little energy to this lunch today. I'm going to actually start off with a poem. And this poem comes from a book called The Concrete Kids. This is for the concrete kids. The kids with a melanin kiss. The kids drenched in poverty. The kids who were told to cut their hair. The kids that were told to tame their tone. The kids that were told to shorten their names and disappear their tongues. The kids who were told that they were amount to nothing. The smart kids that they were told that they were problematic. The problematic kids who were told that they were stupid. The kids who are taking care of their families in between extracurricular activities. The kids who cannot go to extracurricular activities because they're taking care of their families. The kids who cannot go to extracurricular activities because they don't have the resources. The stoop kids, the hungry kids, the thirsty kids, the foster kids, the homeless kids, the kids in jail. The kids awaiting a trial, the innocent kids, the kids who will never be kids, the kids who's navigating violence at hands, the kids who were taught to fear themselves, the kids who refuse to be a part of gangs, the kids who join gangs, the kids who think about joining gangs, the kids who started them, the adults they become, the adults that wait for the blood to dry out in the sun, in the laundry, the kids who bury adults, the adults who bury kids, the angels they become, the angels that we become. More significant, this is for the boy with the white t-shirt who says, "Breathe, I saw him escape." Thank you. That was my poem. I just wanted to start off with a poem. Again, my name is Terry, and like he said, I'm sharing my story of resilience. I'm sharing my story of challenging circumstances, trauma, experiences that I experienced as a young child. I'm honored here and blessed to be the speaker, speaking alongside of Mike DeWine, speaking in front of a large group of people with the theme and the message of us having the message of growing stronger together. You see, the reason I read that poem is because I was one of those kids. I was a homeless kid. I was a foster kid. I was a stoop kid. I was a kid who was affected by guns. I was a kid who was affected by homelessness. My story, I was born in Toledo, Ohio, raised by my great-grandmother who took me in at the age of 9 months until the age of 11 years old. From a cultural shock of being raised by my great-grandmother to moving here to Columbus, living with my mother as a single parent with three other kids, sisters at that time, and seeing the challenging circumstances that she was going through with mental health and addiction problems and challenging circumstances as a Black woman in today's society. And being able for me to be going through those challenging circumstances as a young Black male in today's society. By the age of 15 years old, I was a homeless youth. I've been on my own since 15 years old, navigating life, navigating systems, navigating each and everything that you can imagine. From watching my mother lose her freedom, being incarcerated at the age of 15, being disconnected from my father, I was dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of challenging circumstances as a young person, navigating life and navigating the system, house to house, couch to couch, is what they considered as a disconnected youth, an at-risk youth, a youth that's affected by the school to prison pipeline, a challenged youth. But look at me today. Look at me today, standing in front of you after all the challenging circumstances that I experienced as a young Black male here in Columbus, Ohio, here in Franklin County, where 15 years ago, being a homeless youth, being a disconnected youth, there wasn't as many resources and as many opportunities as there is today. But I stand up in front of you today as an advocate for mental health, as an advocate for other young people who are actually doing the work, who are creating pathways for other young people. Right? 2 interventions for my life personally was that when I became a homeless youth, watching everything change and figuring out where I was going to go, where I was going to eat, and where I was going to survive. And then the other transition of being a youth affected by the criminal justice system, serving 4.5 years of prison for drug possession and drug trafficking. The judge looked me in my face and said, "You was nothing but be a statistic to society." A young Black male who has a mother with issues and a father who's disconnected from the household, you ain't gonna be nothing. This is what the judge is telling me as a 20-year-old Black man in today's society. I went and walked inside of prison as what they consider as a statistic to society, but I walked out of prison breaking statistical barriers. I walk out of prison becoming an advocate to this work and becoming an advocate to support other young people. And I believe, like Mike DeWine said, that there should be opportunities inside of schools. There should be resources. I was inspected by the school to prison pipeline. I had a 4.0 GPA grade point average at Independence High School when I dropped out of high school. But because of my zip code and because of the community I lived in, no one came and knocked on my door and said, "Why is Terry not at school?" Where is this smart young Black male that was supposed to be something for his community? But I fell across the waistline to be affected by the system and be affected by these challenges. But I stand here today as now the executive director of my own nonprofit, Think, Make, Live Youth, where I service young people between the ages of 14 to 24 years old, providing opportunities as far as after-school programs, as far as programs as a diversion program. I have a program and a contract with the Franklin County Courts to be able to provide opportunities for young people 18 to 24 to not only get mental health support, but jobs, resources, and ultimately get their record expunged. You see, in 2020, I actually made history in 2020 by being eligible to get my record expunged. In 2020, I filed to get my record expunged, and the Franklin County courts expunged my record without a court hearing over 9 criminal records for drug possession and drug trafficking is off of my case. It's off of my history. And I stand up here to say that I'm an advocate for this work. I'm an advocate to be able to support young people, but I'm also a part of Youth Move. Shout out to Youth Move. I've been a part of Youth Move since 2018. Being a part of Youth Move since 2018, we have some radical young people that's in the room. Can my Youth Move people stand up? You see my youth leaders in the back, right here. This is our new change agents right here. These are the change agents that's gonna make radical change in our communities. And these young people, we're doing service projects, community projects, giving back, even going through peer mentorship. So peer support mentorship training, we got certifications that our young people is actually getting certifications to be able to help their peers, to be able to give back, going to the schools, to talk to other young people, to be able to be a support and an advocate. And for that, I say that it's gonna take for a true change for us to see growing stronger together. We need radical leaders such like yourself. We need radical change agents, such like Mike DeWine and Mr. Luke that's here. We need people like you guys that's going to be able to make the change that we want to see for our communities. For what we want to see for our people that is dealing with challenging circumstances, but then those people that are pushed out of the resources to be able to be supported. Just recently, I received my qualified behavioral health specialist certification through the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addictions. So I'm now a clinical provider through Ohio Mental Health Addiction Services, providing resources and now providing opportunities for treatment. And so being able to be a full story, a full turnaround of a young person like myself who society written off and said I was going to be a young black male as a homeless youth right here in Franklin County. And now I'm standing up in front of you, advocating for change, standing up in front of you to say that there's many of young people out there in the community that have stories such like mine, that are fighting for being able to be heard, fighting to be able to be recognized and supported. And I'm standing up here as a young person, as a young black male, to be able to say that I'm an advocate for the change that we want to see in our community, but for us to hold hands together and to be able to make the change that we want to see right now today. Thank you.